Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with different completely. And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. Yes, indeed. It is Friday, November the 2nd, in the year of our Lord 2012, which means it's supposed to be Open Mic Friday, but we don't have any lines working at the moment, so I'm kind of used to saying it's Open Mic Friday, but we will get Open Mic Friday back and up and running for you. Of course, you can always, email me, rod@rodeccles.com, or you can, of course, enter stuff in the chat room on Spreaker. It got a lot to go over with today. I mean, this is the last weekend. Well, even if Romney wins on Tuesday, it's not the last weekend of Obama. But this is the last weekend of not knowing which way our country is going to go over the next 4 years or a couple of generations. And one thing, this just in, by the way, Mayor Bloomberg has bowed to pressure to cancel the New York City Marathon. Now, I got to tell, I don't even know why. How is it even possible that this man could even think? I mean, you know what did it? It was two things. You know, he's so caring. Doomberg is so caring of the. You know what, people of New York? I hate to say this. I hate to say I told you so. But you people did this to yourself. I mean, you got people in New York City whining, "Oh, we don't have any power. How can you have a marathon?" You elected the idiot. Look, this is a prime example. You get the type of government that you deserve by voting for it. You voted for Doomberg for a third time. You decided to let this guy get a waiver on the limitation. You know, he wasn't supposed to be able to run for a third term. 2 terms and you're out in New York City. But they allowed him to do it, and you voted for him. I hate to say it, but New York City, you did it to yourself. No, Bloomberg did not control Sandy. We got some information on Sandy about the global warming and all that kind of stuff, theorists and nut jobs. It got so much to cover. That's coming up a little bit later. This is going to, the global warming thing is going to blow, because everybody's talking about how bad Sandy was. Sandy was a Category 1 storm. It wasn't that bad. Believe it or not, it wasn't that bad. And I'll tell you why. As we go on, we're going to discuss that. But Bloomberg has decided to I guess the pressure to use those two big, powerful generators to power all the electrical needs of the marathon, that was enough to just to throw people over the edge, as well as kicking people out of their hotels. Yeah, they lost their house. Now they're losing their hotel room. So somebody from, the marathon runner or news person can come in. I mean, you got to be kidding me. They're going to bring more people into a city where, in order to get into the city, if you're living outside of the city, in order to get in the city, drive into it, you got to have 3 people in your car. I mean, why? That's ridiculous. Manhattan, parts of Queen still without power, parts of the subway system still flooded, and this guy wants to hold a marathon. Well, we need the $300 million. So is the city that strapped? Now, when America's mayor, Giuliani, was there. Now, I guarantee you that if Giuliani were in office today, there would not have even been a second thought or discussion about the marathon. It would just automatically be canceled. Why? Because the most important thing is to get the city back to normal, and the city is nowhere near normal. He wouldn't be worried about $300 million in lost revenue. Oh, my goodness. How about we worry about getting people who have been devastated and have lost everything back on their feet first? How about if we have access to these generators, we hook them up to areas and neighborhoods and hospitals where it will do some good and help speed recovery, not for over-pampered news media and long-distance athletes. Give me I don't even know why it was. But yeah, hey, you voted for this guy, New York, so this is what you get. But he's finally decided to cancel the Great New York City Marathon. And he was only doing it after mounting criticism that it was wrong to hold the race while the region is still recovering from Superstorm Sandy. Now, the other thing is, and he was getting hit by, obviously for good reason, both sides on this. And the reason for the right wing attacking him is because it was just wrong, considering everything that's going on. And the left is saying, well, yeah, there's all that money, but geez, come on, Mikey babe. You're going to make President Obama look bad. You just endorsed Obama for president, claiming that because he would be better on climate change. And what are you doing? Think about it. If all these marathons all over the country, and they're in, pretty much some pretty liberal run cities. New York City Marathon, the Boston Marathon, Chicago Marathon, the LA Marathon. They're pretty much, liberal run cities, but marathons bring in an awful lot of, or cause an awful lot of, marathons have a large carbon footprint. Let's put it that way. Because all these people have got to fly in and drive in, and you got all these vehicles running around, keeping track of the people that are running and supporting the runners, not to mention the news people and all the news vans and everything that have to have their engines running. They have large carbon footprints, not to mention all the garbage that's created and trash from all these. I'm just saying, if you want to really take it to the nth level. Now, I know people who run marathons. Now, I don't care how good a shape I'm in. There ain't no way in hell I'm running 25, 26, 27 miles. I'm not, for fun. I'm not doing it. If I have to do it to save my life or to save a family member's life, fine. But just for fun? Who are these gluttons of punishment-seeking people? Yeah, they could. Well, yeah. He ran 27 miles in under 2 hours. Like so. I can drive 27 miles in about 15 minutes on the highway. Who wins? Me. I'm just saying. It is the worst of the worst ideas I have ever. And I know some people say, well, Bloomberg's a Republican. No, Bloomberg has never been a Republican. If I'm not mistaken, Bloomberg was once a registered Democrat and he switched to Republican. He's like a Spectre, an Arnold Spectre. He was never a Republican. Because there ain't no way in hell Republicans would ever act that way. Well, not true conservative Republicans anyway. I know you got a lot of people out there talking about Romney being mean and making fun of things and stuff like that, but, you know... Speaking of the hurricane, you know, there's a story here out of Rhode Island that you're not going to believe, and we'll get into that. Well, maybe I should do it. Here it is. I'll do it now and get it out of the way. It's hurricane related. Out of Providence, Rhode Island. A Brown University student remains unconvinced that there was a hurricane. I kid you not. Now he's supposed to, Brown is, Brown is an Ivy League school, right? It's one of the smart schools, like Harvard and Yale and Princeton and that type of stuff. It's Brown. And for those of you who don't know where Brown is located in Providence, Rhode Island. Now, isn't that something? We got a bunch of Ivy League and Ivy League-esque schools here in New England. In Massachusetts, they have Harvard and MIT. In Connecticut, you've got Yale. In New Hampshire, you have Dartmouth. Now, I don't know what Vermont has. Maybe Vermont doesn't have one. Maybe Massachusetts took Vermont's share. And, of course, in Rhode Island, you have Brown. And Johnson and Wales is also a very pricey type of, although it's not an Ivy League, but it's Ivy League pricing or close to it. Brown, this Brown student is interviewed by NBC 10's Allison Bologna. Bologna. I'm not going to call her Bologna. That's a terrible name for a newscaster. Bologna, but I'm going to say Bologna just to save her some embarrassment. I would have changed my name. I would have used the stage name. Allison Bologna she tried to interview this kid and didn't get the interview that she expected from Daniel. And the name Daniel is in quotations, which makes me suspect that Daniel is not his real name. But he is a Brown student, and the interview was live from Fox Point Hurricane Barrier in Providence. Now, Daniel says the government wants you to think a hurricane happened and that classes are canceled, but he knows better. And here's a quote from him. If I wake up and people say there's a hurricane, I'm still pretty skeptical, Daniel says. I don't really believe that there's a hurricane. Now, Bologna corrects him, but he persists. Think about it. The Earth rotates pretty quickly, he continues. He even rotates his arms to demonstrate what he means, just in case viewers are confused. He will concede this point, however. It's definitely windy, for sure. And he's a Brown student. Yeah, it was well, okay, granted, it was probably not hurricane force winds in Providence, Rhode Island. I'll give him that. But to say that there was no hurricane